it's very good to talk about interaction after we dealt with the money, so we know everything will be okay with the financial part. So let's see, building bridges. Are you ready? Do you think how long it will take for you to build the bridge during a year? Do you have an estimate, like how many hours are you ready to spend in Toastmasters in your role? You can chat, you can write that in the chat, some numbers, just some guess. Maybe the ones who already had a role can skip that for a while to see how the others will answer. Just text in the chat a number. How many hours are you ready to spend? 5 minutes a week? Yeah, Martin, of course. Dream about that. 15 hours a week. Oh, do you have a job, Daniel? Or are you doing only Toastmasters? Don't scare people out.
No, this is for district directors only. For ADs, it's much less.
Okay, Violetta, 5 hours. Getting closer to reality. Some other guesses? 2-3 hours? Chaba? So, I will tell you a secret. If you plan to have it like 2-3 hours, I'm so sorry, it won't be like this. But 2-3 hours will be only for the part of doing the official reporting, communication, mail stuff that is just mandatory. But if we're talking about communication and interaction, that will take a bit more, and we will see why. But before that, I have a question for you. This is a link. So I want to ask you, how do you feel about your role right now? What is the feeling that you have in your mind, in your body, when thinking about being an area director or a PQD or a district director? So you can follow the link that I give you in the chat and just write 1 to 3 letters, words. How do you feel about your role? Yeah, we have someone excited. And you'll see how your words are getting into the system just in a moment. A lot of excited. Now it's going up. Curious, exciting, challenging. Okay, lack of communication. That's one of the fears, I suppose. Anxious. Okay. Confused. Now, that's a good thing, by the way. That happened to me, truly saying as well, especially after the official meeting we had at the district conference in May. Ignorance. Oh, really? Okay. Nervous. Anyway, the excited part looks to be the best one right now. So let's see. You are mainly excited, and we'll see if that works like in the pictures I have prepared for you. This is some of the words related to the words that we just mentioned, actually. My computer is extremely low, truly saying, don't be very sad with that, please. It doesn't want to move in a normal way. So usually we think about that. Okay, we got the position. And I can feel about a few people that already did it. Okay, what do I need to do? So that was the word with ignorance, I think, that we have seen in the map that was created by you. But it also happens that we are quite confused, at the same time curious, and at the same time not knowing exactly what will be like and what we need to do and how we need to approach the clubs. Because sometimes, okay, I need to talk, I know how to talk, but anyway, how to do that exactly, I'm not sure yet. Or after this workshop, because I'm planning to share with you all the difficulties I went through during my area director position, because the informed person is much more prepared and ready to deal with the challenges and find the communication ways in comparison with the person that doesn't know how to do that. So maybe you look like that. Oh my God, I need to do everything. But guys and girls, tell you the truth. If you want to do that, fire up this attitude, any of them, because what you really need to do is to concentrate on what you need to do and what you plan to do and all the creativity that is around it. So today I want to talk with you about the bridge. You are actually the ones. You are ones connecting the people, connecting the clubs with the Toastmasters International, making the community big for real. Not just leaving the clubs there somewhere, but you are the ones that are the architects. I'm so sorry, you'll be in construction this year. Maybe not exactly the position you were thinking about, but that's something you'll do. You'll be the ones building the bridges, making the people connect, and not only building, but selecting where this bridge should be built. How do you get to that people? How do you make them use the bridge? It's all related to communication, to promotion, and sometimes to writing reports. So if talking about bridges, actually, we have a few very important components for any of your positions that you have. We will talk today about background, reporting, interaction, some dilemmas, and also we will need to talk about an elephant. What's about? We'll see later. So talking about the background, first thing you need to do, and maybe I was not aware so much about it at the very beginning, is to find out what are the problems and interests of the club, or the clubs that you're working with, of the members of Toastmasters, because we come from different perspectives. I personally was thinking about Toastmasters as a place to practice public speaking skills, as to practice leadership skills, as already having some background. But after having a survey in some of the clubs, I observed that the first thing people were talking about were about networking, about socializing, about having common activities. So they were not coming for specifically professional points, but they were more interested in meeting new people and communicating. So that is why it's really, really important to understand what are the needs of the people you are working with. That looks a little bit like in sales, when you need, first of all, while building a bridge, to understand how you want to do that. How do you want to create this community? How do you want to connect with people and actually make a base camp? I am thinking about the base camp. That will be a keyword for the entire year, not only from the perspective of pathways, but also from the perspective of the family that you'll have. You will have a few clubs you're working with that need to be really connected and working together and kind of living together. So it's like a real base camp where there is an interdependency with each other. And also you'll need to think about all the needs and opportunities that are specifically of interest for your, why not, kind of customers, because you will need to understand what are the needs of the district, what are the needs of Toastmasters International, and on the other hand, what are the needs of your clubs, of your members, but of yourself as well. So all of this should be created in a kind of map, and for you to understand where do you want to go, understanding the background. How do you find this information? If you think about the background, first of all, you have the reports. The reports that are provided by the previous area directors, please ask for them. No one will give them just because that's mandatory. You need to ask and they will send it. Secondly, try to talk to the previous area directors or role bearers that you are taking the position of, because they will give you much more information in a kind of mentoring coaching session. And not the last thing you need to do, you need to talk to all the members you are working with. That's in a different way. You can have some additional visits at the very beginning. Now that it's online, it's much easier and you can communicate with them directly. Because sometimes having very unofficial discussions with people can bring you much more information you would never think about. Second point is the reporting. Besides reading someone's reports, you will need to write your own. And tell you a secret, please try to read that form before going to a club visit. It's quite long. This is only 1 page, and there are 4 like this, with lots of information that needs to be provided. And truly saying, you will not find all the information that is requested there from a simple club visit. There are many, many tricky questions that will ask you about things you can find out only by communicating with the VP Education, for example, like related to the goals of the club and the people progress on their pathways. At the same time, you will not be able to know about the PR part and the communication part they use unless you ask them what is the system you're using to communicate with your members. Is it WhatsApp, or is it mailing, or is it communicating by phone? Or if talking about the PR and the promotion they have, or the extracurricular activities, there are so many points you can find out about the club, but not in a club visit, but only via interaction and communication. That is why I would recommend you to just go through the entire list as soon as you have the access to District Central, or you can even download from internet, you can find it everywhere. So you can start communicating and asking questions from the members and from the previous role bearers in order to understand more the clubs. Another thing that is related, and it's not so related to reporting, but it's more related to interaction. Sometimes you just need to have a glass of wine with the people, because there is a lot of history of the clubs, of the members' relations. Sometimes you don't know that 2 of the clubs had bad relations of a very old story. And you get into communication, you try to connect them, but it's not working and you cannot understand why. So that is why just having a very, very informal meeting, some bottles of wine or a glass of wine, depending how many people are you meeting. And is it in Moldova or Romania, for example, you'll see that that's really mandatory. But it's really important to understand what's behind the scenes. What's going there with the clubs, how were the elections held. For example, sometimes you even don't know that the DPE and the president are not in good relations, and you cannot find it out just right away. You can feel some tension, or you can feel that in the way they communicate with you, but you cannot understand what's going on. So besides being, for example, an area director or a district director, you'll be kind of a counselor, kind of a psychologist, why not, helping these people to connect to each other and solve the issues of communication through communication. Talking about interaction is also really important to think about the means of communication. So in order to save time, set up from the very beginning a very, very clear way of communication. Like, for example, you have a common group of the presidents and VPs of the clubs where you are offering all the information that are coming to you, and establish the best way with them. Like, for example, in my area, I started with mails and I got no responses. And I was thinking, okay, these people don't want to talk with me. And then I created a chat and I started to use Facebook, and all the people were answering extremely fast. So the mean of communication was a different one. People were not checking mails so oftenly. That is why it was an obstacle in communication. So that is why establish with people the specific means of communication. Like, for example, twice a week we have mails, informational mails, or by email I'm offering the information about what's going on in Toastmasters International or in the district. But if there is an urgency, then I'll text directly in the chat. Or if there is something extremely urgent and related to only one club, then I will communicate individually with the president or with the DP, depending on the type of the problem. Of course, you can create the area councils. We are trying to do that. Not all the times that is working. Area councils can be divided by groups, like all the VPs and all the presidents working together. What I did and worked for me easier was having VPs and presidents just in one group and communicating all at once, because in case the president was not available, then the VP answered faster. Credibility, and that's not working like in this picture. So if you promise something, if you said something, do it, because if not, people will not trust you anymore. And everything related to communication is actually based on credibility. It's related on the trust, and the trust is created sometimes by creating situations of vulnerabilities. So telling that you don't know something is okay, or telling that you are not very sure how to work with a specific situation and asking the group to do it together actually will connect the group. So don't try to be very pushy, I would call it like this, but it's better to open up and to show that sometimes there are some weak points, and that will be a very good connector and a good trust builder. Of course, the reputation is built for a very long time, but is broken very fast. So all your promises that you give, please try to keep them. And the very important thing is being yourself. That's about giving speeches, that's about being a leader. Don't try to pretend to be another person, because people will see that, will feel that. But if you are sincere, if you are credible, if you are authentic, people will love you and respect you as you are. And that will be much easier to connect. Don't forget that there are so many different people. A good example is that we have visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and the ones that prefer to read and write. So every time you create a message, every time you try to communicate, just remember that you have different type of people. So that is why you need to use different means of communication. With someone, you need to have a phone call or a Skype call. You need to see each other. With someone, it's just okay to write an email. So please try to integrate all the types of communication you can use. And coming to the dilemmas, that's a good point of communication. People prefer communication, especially the clubs, when they have some problems. If everything is okay, no one is bothering, you just maybe go there and just support them and try to raise and praise all their achievements. But when there is a problem, you can get easily some messages at 2 o'clock at night, or even more oftenly. And for that, we will try to do something right now. We will try to work in groups. For that, I will first of all explain you what we'll do. What I will share with you are real problems that are happening in some areas. What you need to do in your groups is to offer on the sticky notes, the virtual sticky notes, some solutions. You'll write down your solution in the group, and then in the group you'll need to decide which of the 5 solutions is the best one to be approached or to be used. So you will be voting. And you'll select only one solution to be presented in the big group. Out of that, it's really important that when you give solution, you give this type of communication you'll have. Not only what you do, but how do you do that with the club? In which way you'll proceed? How will you communicate on the decision taken, and so on. So concentrate on the communication part and the human part, because don't forget there are people there in the clubs. And in order to understand in which of the groups you are, because Lenka will help me and will spread you in the rooms, in the left top corner, if you bring the mouse there, when you'll be already in the room, you'll see the number or the name of the color of the room you are getting to. What I'm giving you now, in order to see that already in the rooms, is for each group, I have a separate link. Just a moment. I'll give that in the chat. So when you'll be in the room, you already will know in which of the groups you are. So you enter the link of the group or the color that is named. And for that, you'll have exactly 10 minutes. So it's now 1:11. 1 minute for getting into the rooms. So that means at 1:22, we'll be back here with one person selected from your team to present that one best solution you found out. Good luck.
One technical information.
Yes.
Okay, you're talking about solutions. How do I get the problem?
It's on the link. So when
Okay,
you get there are sticky notes. On one of them is written the problem. For each group, there will be a different one. And in order to write on the sticky notes, you just double click on them and you'll be able to text there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, one technical point of information. You are going to be automatically divided into breakout rooms, so it's like haphazardly done. And I think that you will not be able to get to the chat. So copy all the links Margarita just sent to you. Make sure you have all of them. And when you will be divided into the breakout room, so you have the access to all of the links and you can click on it and use the information. So do you all have copied the links?
No, there is no link in this chat.
Just a moment, because Lenka texted me, I automatically answered her. So
okay.
I sent them now. As a note, I can see the common chat, as I remember, but just in case, copy them.
Yes, just in case, copy them, so you have it.
One more technicality. How much time do we have to?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay.
Okay, so are you ready? I will open the rooms and you will be assigned to a room. Just click yes, I will go there. Martin, are you going to any breakout rooms or have you decided to stay here?
I'm not getting any, I didn't get any buttons to go to any room. I'm not sure if I'm missing something.
Do you see on the bottom line, there's a breakout room, like the icon with 4 small squares. Do you see it anywhere?
No, not really, no.
Okay.
Reactions, record, share screen, chat, participants, and that's all I'm seeing. Not
Okay.
sure what may be off.
Yes. Try participant. Click on this icon participant.
Okay. All right, and there's these rooms.
Yes.
Oh, no. I see the participants. I don't see the rooms. Yeah. I mean, I've tried this before. I've been in it, but I didn't get, because I've tried this once before and I didn't get a message this time.
And try to click on the chat because it might be hidden somewhere.
Okay. Checking chat. Checking participants. No. Mute, stop video, not those. I can record reactions. I can leave.
Are you on a phone call or a mobile phone?
No, computer. I'm on a computer. So that shouldn't be the problem. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything connected to the rooms, and I've seen it before, so I kind of know what it looks like. I'm completely missing it, to be true. Wait, okay, yeah. So I can mute myself. I can rename.
Okay.
So yeah, there's nothing.
I can assign you to a room. Just wait.
Okay.
Welcome back. Still writing, still debating.
You're ready.
So 10 minutes, it's not enough for such a big problem, yes?
It's not a problem, it's an opportunity.
Good. Waiting for the others to come back. Did you decide who will be the one to present?
Yeah, I think Balázs Somogyi will present.
We volunteered, Balázs.
Yeah.
Volunteer, this is the correct word, yeah. Toastmasters.
Who was the best in delegation there, right?
I delegated them to make the decision, and then Anna delegated to Balázs.
Very nice type of delegation. Delegating from one to another, and then you get to one club member who is doing everything.
Ah, delegate. Interesting activity.
So everyone's here?
No, just us.
Just us? Okay. Okay, it's enough. It's enough to have just us. So let's see. We have the possibility to present. And let's start with the blue team, for example. Please, the one solution to the problem that the club is not talking to you and no answers to emails, chat messages, or reactions to any proposals, initiatives. That happens sometimes in the very beginning of any type of role sometimes.
Okay, so it seems that I will be the representative of the blue team, and you already see the screen with our proposals. So in my experience as area governor 5 years ago, I did not encounter this issue. First, because everybody knew before that I would be the area director, and also being the first area governor, because we have just joined District 95. I introduced myself to the clubs. The second is that I showed during the club's meetings, and we recommend to the area director to show up to the club meetings, not only for the visit reports, the official visit reports, but as often as possible, taking into consideration geographical constraints. Also, when you show up to the club meetings, please offer your services. Show them that you are interested in helping them. And if you're interested and you show that you want to help them, there is a big chance that the club will be interested. And also, if you show up to a club meetings, okay, maybe the club officers will ignore you. Although I'm skeptical about this, but not all 20 or 30 members of the club will ignore you, because at least they will present you at the beginning or at the end of the meeting, and you can say, okay, I'm the area director, I'm here to help. So yes, setting up channels, speaking with the club presidents, keep them informed. Toastmasters also recommends having a communication each month with the club president so that you can inform them
You're
about
going very, very deep. One, Karim, one solution, the best one.
Okay, show up to the club's meetings as often as possible and speak with the members and the officers.
Thank you a lot. So in my case, showing that I can offer help, and when the club reacted like, now we see that you are here to help us, that was something that really worked. So I would totally agree with the team, with the blue team. So the help is being there for help is the best connector. The green team, 1 minute max for presentation. And only one solution, the best one, because we can see the other ones. And I will share them at the later on.
So message to go, right? Green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hi everyone, once again. So my team, okay, first of all, the problem is extremely short time until the autumn contest. And I think almost everyone once experienced this kind of a problem. And we voted for the fifth solution. So first of all, we need to have a plan, a strict plan, and to find people who are ready to help and to assist in organizing a contest. So we should find key roles for the contest conduction. First of all, it's chairman or chair lady and chief judge, and these two crucial roles can really help in assisting in contest conduction. Also, we need to find allocation where this contest should be held and establish strong cooperation inside your team. So as an area director, as a team leader, should be very enthusiastic and motivate other team members to create and establish a very well organized contest. And then create an agenda and fill up the rest of the roles.
So kind of your position would be that the area director is the engine, the motivator. Okay.
Yeah, enthusiastic person.
Okay, thank you a lot. I would tell you about my own experience. When we set up the team, it was extremely enthusiastic. Just 1 week before the contest, actually nothing was in place. And someone told me like, okay, you as an area director, are you taking over? Are you solving the problem? No, you are the one to connect people, but not to do. That's one thing that I would really recommend. You are the one to make people do things, but don't do things yourself, because they are the ones to grow. Okay, thank you a lot. And now comes the pink team.
All right. We have discussed several things, but as this is about the main idea, our eventual idea would be organizing a panel discussion with the club board, or maybe even later during a club meeting, showing what the club meeting roles of the officer roles are, what they contain, what the benefits are, and then yeah, in that elaborate on the value, to motivate people to widen their scope of activities within the Toastmaster Club.
Mm-hmm.
So they can eventually maybe think about it later, or right at very moment, whether or not they're gonna be interested in taking more roles, responsibility, more activity in the club.
So the problem was for the other ones that the club is extremely active, but on communication part, not on leadership part, they're not taking officers' roles.
No club officer roles, organization roles were taken. Yeah, that was the main problem, challenge. So we focused on how to inform them better about the club officer roles, organization roles, and what the benefits are. And that could be done in a kind of informational start and then a panel discussion even during the club meeting. So all club members are informed.
So first of all, informing members on the benefits of the roles and the importance of the roles. Thank you a lot. And I really like the pink approach that you have. Super cute. And the orange team.
Hi. Our problem was you catch some rumors that one of your clubs, there is a member that is not 18 yet. We assume it's under 18 and not over 18, which is absolutely okay. Actually, we had a consensus all over the team. We have a line of steps we have to do. Everybody said we have to ask why, we have to investigate. Is it really true or not? This is a rumor. And then we have to check if it's true. That person who was there was maybe just a visitor one time, or he or she is really a member. That's a big difference. Me personally, I think it's a serious thing. If you become member of a Toastmaster club, you will be a member of the Toastmaster International with 358,000 members working under the Californian NGO law. So it's a serious thing. But if you have interest for Toastmasters and public speaking under 18 years, you can start a youth leadership program, or you have the chance to make a Gavel club, which is really designed for this. So investigate, explain why is it important, and then offer the opportunity.
In this direction, Balázs, if talking about communication, how would you communicate with the club about this situation? This is the tricky part.
Yes, of course. It depends what we found out. If it's one person, it's a huge difference if that person will turn to 18 very soon, or you have a club with a 10-year-old scout team. Yeah, we have. So it all depends on the circumstances. Hopefully, it's only a rumor and just a one-off event, and you can communicate it easily.
So in a way, we need to be really delicate in delicate dilemmas. Yes. So talking with the clubs, investigating, being very attentive, because that would influence a lot the clubs inside and their image outside. So that is why it's extremely important to be very attentive, to work according to the rules, but at the same time to think about the background, what happened, why that happened, and to be extremely attentive on the way you communicate with the club. So thank you a lot. Yes, it's important to investigate, first of all, the case. And the last but not the least, the yellow, the sunny team.
Okay. I'm going to be going into this, and it's really quite special because I've been in a situation like this. So the one we thought is to identify the real root cause behind the problem, because it could be easily solvable. Another suggestion was have one-to-one talk with the officers to make sure you have the real cause inside. This is important because people might not be honest when you're just talking to them as a team, and they might be more honest one-to-one. Develop a workshop on team working, addressing what could be difficulties, how you can resolve a lot of problems, and just talk through the consequences of the situation being on, so to make sure it's pretty clear to everyone that we have to move away from this situation, because we can't just stay here. And assign a coach or a mentor, either formerly or unformerly, someone who's been in situations like this who can help going through this.
But what's the only one, the best thing to do?
The best thing to do? Well, I mean, I'm going to nominate my own one because I've been in a situation like it, and that's number 2.
So you did
that's the one that I personally, because when this happened to me, I was in this conflict, and I absolutely know how I could deal with this, so I just quit that club completely. And looking back, I think this is something that could have really helped me in that situation. If I could openly express myself, because for me it was difficult to do it as a team, especially because I felt responsible in a way. The president, the uncooperative president was my mentee, and a lot of people were blaming me for getting her in. So I felt like I can't really say what I want. So if I have to pick one, I'm going to do that. The others are pretty good too, but yeah, that's my personal bias here showing up.
Understanding. So what I did was I've observed the situation, and truly saying it's really important to observe what's going on in the club, and you cannot see that in one meeting, in one visit, truly saying. So then I tried to visit the officers meeting. I was invited by the president to understand how it works inside, and then having some discussions and about the impact it has on the entire club, on the entire community, the type of the behavior they have, and that actually leadership is about trying to find connections where even it's really hard to have them. So that's real leadership negotiating and making that everything seem and look diplomatically, and not only thinking about your own things. Thank you a lot for all the teams. So I'm a little bit out of the time, as I observe. I'm not reading the chat, but I suppose that someone is writing there, like, Margot, the time is up. I just have a few things to share with you, because truly saying an experience of an area director is so huge, and you cannot just have it in 45 minutes, but it's really important to have some heads up at least in order to understand what's going on. So the last point I wanted to very fast talk about is about the goals we have. So try to write down extremely fast, or think about the goal. Think about the goal you have. Is it, how big it is? What do you want to achieve? I think you already did it when you applied for the position you have. And then you need to have some indicators and some progress towards the goals that you set up for your club, for yourself, and for the entire district. And this final goal is really important, because that will be your drive. That will help you go towards the end of the year. Even sometimes it will be quite difficult. Even sometimes it will take a lot of time, much more than you thought about. And of course, about the elephant. What is the elephant? Actually, it's the E that I used for enthusiasm. But sometimes it's really good to have the suspense in advance. So the elephant is the enthusiasm that we have at the very, very beginning. And we are so enthusiastic, and I've seen that you're so excited about the position. That's at the beginning of your mandate. But sometimes it happens like this. So really, what's really, really important is to have this enthusiasm by the end of the year. Like seeing me right now talking about the problems that I had in a very enthusiastic way, and sharing that, because I know how important it is to bring this energy to the clubs, to show that you are next to them, not only at the beginning, but till the end of the year, and not get burned out by the end of the year, thinking it's like, I don't want to do anything anymore. Just being ready to take it over and over, because you are on a way that will never end. Toastmasters is a lifestyle. And if thinking about the burnouts, now going back to your goals, are they realistic? Or maybe sometimes it's better to go down a little bit, to understand that maybe to set up a little bit smaller goals, but to make them achievable and to make them be reached with real enthusiasm by the end. So when you set up goals, please set up real goals, the ones that you can do for real. What I would ask you after I will finish my training is, I will give you a link on Mentimentor, and to write down one idea that you remember from everything I was talking about today. That was a lot of information, I would say. And please, please, that's something I'm doing. If you want to be normal, no, Toastmasters are not normal. If you ask me, please be normal, my answer will be all the times, no, no way. That's the way I want to be. You are the bridge architects. You are the one creating the bridges. So remember that along the entire year, that when you have difficulties, when you be full of enthusiasm, that you are the one you are connecting. Thank you.